So I'm the very proud representative of the fence line of your home at Fort Meade and represent many of the men and women who work every day in cybercom. So I'm going to try to focus my questions on them. I also want to echo my colleagues' deep concern with the firing of General Hawk and the signal that that sends to our adversaries abroad. And I want to follow up on a few points made and dig in a little bit on personnel. General, I was really glad to hear you say that people are the most valuable asset of cybercom, and I think this committee, just in the 37 minutes I've been here, would agree with that as well. Not just the hiring freeze, I want to dig into the impacts or potential impacts of the actions of DOGE on the personnel. I would be curious to hear from your perspective how many under your command took advantage of the fork in the road offer, how many probationary employees were separated from the agency, and I have a follow-up question to that, but I would love clarification from you first.
Thanks for the question. From a percentage of the workforce, the target was 5 to 8%, and we will fall somewhere in the 5 to 8% category. No probationary employees were terminated as a result of this unless it was for non-performance or disciplinary reasons. And to date, we haven't had any.
Okay, so 5% still, I would argue that, as everybody has mentioned before, this is an incredibly important command. 5% of that is going to be felt. Can you speak to how you're going to balance out being able to deliver while losing 5% of your workforce?
Congressman, we have a deep and talented workforce, and we have junior leaders that will move up and assume those responsibilities, and it will be difficult. It will require leadership, but we know who's leaving. We've developed contingency plans, and it's my job to ensure that we execute those plans and continue to perform our mission.
On the note of those who are leaving, I'm deeply concerned about the potential and unnecessary national security threats of disgruntled employees, especially if they are separated in the way General Hawk was, not to imply he would ever at all or anybody would, but I think it's an unnecessary national security risk to separate employees in any kind of disrespectful manner. Can you speak to what you are doing to ensure that everybody's treated with respect and that the information that they carry with them continues to be classified?
So first, we terminated no one against their will at Cyber Command. So I'm not as concerned as a workforce that would have been terminated. Two, the guidance I've given is that every person that has served their nation, the first thing we should say is thank you, and we should do everything we can to facilitate their transition and to help them be successful.
I would also recommend to you, even the folks who separated willingly, in order for them to land successfully and continue to be able to keep food on their families' tables and roofs over their heads. Has there been any discussion of helping them? I understand their resumes have to go through a clearance, some type of process, and that can take up to a number of months. That's deeply concerning for my constituents. Can you speak to how you're preparing for that?
Congressman, I have visited that facility, and I have worked with the team, and I will tell you they are doing just an enormous amount of work in order to clear the resumes in a way that allows personnel to go out and find employment. I do not believe that we will see any significant delay as it relates to what we have to do to enable the people that have served with us in order to go find a new job.
So I'm hearing from you that you're committed to ensuring that goes faster than a few months. Do you have any time frame of which your goal is to clear those resumes?
I will be more than happy to take that for the record and provide you an answer. I don't have the exact number of days.
Okay, I really appreciate that. It's of grave concern to me, Mr. Chair, so thank you. And then finally, I'll just make a statement that when we're talking about, obviously we talked about retention, but even recruitment, I think it's going to be really difficult for us as a nation to recruit the best and the brightest to this space. It was already incredibly difficult when they, to Mr. Whiteside's point, can make significantly more money in the private sector when we are treating our civilian employees with across the board with the disrespect that we're seeing from this administration. Particularly here, I think everybody wants to see the best and the brightest young people want to go into public service. I'm grateful that you're committed to that mission as well, and it's just something I'll be focusing on. And Mr. Chair, I'll yield back.